Yo, this is Jay from Straight Smoke Gaming. In today's video, we're going to be doing our NFC West NFL offseason review. And what we do in these videos is we just go over some key ads, things like that. I give you some opinions as to how I think teams will do. If they had key departures, we talk about that as well. So in this video, we're going to be covering the Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams, and 49ers. So pretty competitive division. A lot of young teams that should be taking the next step. So starting off first with the Arizona Cardinals. So when you take a look at key ads, Josh Sweat, good defensive lineman right there. He's going to be your edge rusher, coming over, I believe, from the Super Bowl champ Eagles. So not only will he provide you, a good production on the field, you're kind of hoping that he could be one of your leaders because he did end up winning a Super Bowl, so he knows what it takes. Calais Campbell, another good vet, definitely not what he once was, but still veteran presence. He knows what he's talking about, and he could really help this young team with his experience and wisdom. The main guy he's going to be focusing on trying to help, I would hope, would be Walter Nolan, their first-round pick. One of my favorite defensive tackles in the draft. I thought that the Arizona Cardinals had a really good draft. They really knocked it out of the park with their first two picks because their other pick was Will Johnson. One of the better corners in the draft. Struggled a little bit with injuries in college. That's the reason he fell. But, I mean, the Cardinals took a chance on him. If I was a team and I needed a corner, I probably would have taken a chance on him in the late first round. He's had a really good training camp from what I've been hearing. So I expect him to do very well with them. Expect him to be a big part of the Cardinals in the future and in this year. Walter Nolan, I haven't heard much about him, but I know he's good. I liked him when he was in college, one of my favorite defensive linemen from this draft. So no doubt that I don't think there'll be any doubts about him in the NFL. Might just take a little bit longer. And when it comes to key departures, they really didn't have any. They lost some guys, but none of them were really like, oh my God, this is going to affect them. Previous record was 8-9. I do think that the Cardinals will improve as long as they stay healthy. I've heard good things about Marvin Harrison, which Marvin Harrison didn't even really have a bad year last year. It was just down from what he was supposed to do as the number one wide receiver. So overall, I think the Cardinals are set up pretty nice. Next up, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, as you can see, a lot of names on this list. They did a lot of moves. So key ads are going to be Cooper Kupp, DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Darnold, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and then you get down into the rookies. Gray Zabel, offensive lineman, you need him. Improve that offensive line. Nick Emawari helps that defensive secondary. One of the more athletic safeties. At some points, there were mocks of him going in the first round. So getting him, he should help your defense. Elijah Arroyo, he's going to be your starting tight end because you got rid of Noah Fant. So I think he'll be all right. He should be good. He looked, based on what I've seen, I didn't see anything wrong with how he played in the first preseason game. Jalen Milroe, quarterback of the future. I like that move. I think Milroe will be good. He's not ready. There's going to be some training you have to do with him. So I like the move of drafting a guy to sit behind Sam Darnold and learn a little bit. And then Torrey Horton, one of the more underrated wide receivers. I've heard good things about him coming out of training camp. So if he could take the next step and play really good for the Seattle Seahawks, I'm sure they would love that because they do have some openings at the wide receiver position. Because in the key departures department, you take a look at Geno Smith, he's gone, but they brought in Sam Darnold, so that replaces it. DK Metcalf's gone, but they brought in Cooper Kupp, so that replaces it. Tyler Lockett's gone, they brought in MVS, so that replaces it. Now, Cooper Kupp and MVS, those are not long-term options, so I think they're hoping Torrey Horton can develop into a solid wide receiver too that would be able to complement JSN well. Other key departures, Noah Fant, like I said, they replaced him with a tight end in the draft, and then Lakeland Tomlinson, they replaced him in the draft with their first-round pick, taking a lineman. So the Seattle Seahawks, they went 10-7 last year. Should be better. It'll be interesting to see how these new pieces gel with the coaching staff and the existing players. Next up, San Francisco 49ers. Not a real active offseason for the 49ers in the additions department. So when you take a look at key ads, you got Bryce Huff. He's solid. Can't complain about that. Demarcus Robinson, solid wide receiver 3. One of the more underrated wide receiver 3s, in my opinion, in the league. And then your first-round pick, Michael Williams. I've been hearing good things about him. Pairing him up with Nick Bosa should work out well. He is one of the more raw guys that would need a little bit more development, but I like the move of getting a raw guy that's going to need a little bit of development when you have one of the better pass rushers in the league. So not only do you have the coaching staff to help train him, he's also going to be learning from one of the best in the game currently. But when you take a look at key departures, this is where the 49ers got hit. Deebo Samuel, went to the Commanders. Javarius Ward, I believe he went to the Colts, and Javarius Ward was an important corner last year for him, so they're going to feel that hit a little bit. Leonard Floyd, solid linebacker on the team last year for the 49ers, so they should feel that hit. Another linebacker they lost, Dre Greenlaw. I believe he went to the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, though. But yeah, I mean, he was coming off injury, so he didn't play much last year, but when healthy before the injury, he was one of the better players on that defense. Aaron Banks, starting offensive lineman for them, so that's got to be a hole that you got to fill. Hopefully they have a plan on that, and they have someone that can step up. Tumanawau Huafunga, I know I butchered that name. The safety, one of the more underrated guys, he went to the Broncos as well. Jordan Mason, he got traded. So Jordan Mason filled in well with Christian McCaffrey's injury. And with the injury that he had, I don't know if McCaffrey's ever going to be the same. So I would have liked to have him as a reliable backup option. They went 6-11 last year. I'm not sure what to think. I don't think the 49ers are going to be good. I'm imagining they're going to be in the same area this coming year. Finally, you got the LA Rams. Not a real active offseason for the Rams, but I mean, that's because they were a solid playoff team. They don't got a lot of money to use in free agency. And when they went out and got big names with the money that they did have. So key adds, Devontae Adams, no surprise there, especially with the departure of Kupp. And he just kind of complements Puka Nacua a little bit better. Kupp is really good. I'm a Rams fan. I'm sad to see him go. But, I mean, a long-term business decision. You're going to want the younger guy in Puka Nacua, especially because they both kind of are the same type of receiver. Poona Ford is a good D lineman that they got from the Chargers this offseason. He should work in well on that defensive line. And the defensive line is already stacked. I look for Vertis to take the next step and have put together a really good sophomore season. And then our not first round pick because we traded. So this would be the second round pick, I believe it was, Terrence Ferguson. I like the move. Tight end was one of our more weaker positions. So as long as he could develop nicely and, he's in a good offense, he's got a good offensive head coach that should be able to scheme him open and kind of get him on a rhythm to start. I think if he plays good, I don't think he gives it back to what's his name? Tyler Higbee. I don't think they give that back to him. I think if he hits the ground running, it's his job. Key departures, though, Cooper Kupp, already talked about that. Jonah Jackson, we traded him. He was a good offensive lineman, just struggled with injuries a little bit, so we wanted to free up some money. If you're not going to be healthy, it's kind of hard to justify paying you. So, I mean, we traded him to the Bears. They needed help there. And then Demarcus Robinson, like I was saying, good wide receiver 3. Sucks he went to a division rival. 2 of these guys we got rid of. They went to a division rival. The Rams, they went 10-7 last year. I look for them to improve on that as long as everyone stays healthy. Stafford's been dealing with some back issues. If Stafford is not healthy for the regular season, I don't like the Rams' odds. I mean, you got Jimmy G and Stetson Bennett that you're turning to, so there's definitely going to be some drop-off. But that's the offseason review for the NFC West. Go and comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if there was anyone that I missed for key adds or key departures for any team. But when it comes to this video, that's all we got. So if you enjoyed, please remember to like and sub for more Madden and NFL content, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.